Okay, and can you all see my screen? Fine.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So, again, my name is Tammy Patterson, Associate Director in the Financial Aid Office. So, um, we're very excited that the first generation low income student group asks us to speak about topics that you guys want to know about. And today, as the slide suggests, we hope to shed some light on a few of those topics. So today our focus will be on how much should you take out in loans, understanding interest rates, investing basics, and loan repayment. And so Ms. Lupe will begin the discussion with calculating a loan amount.
So calculating a loan amount, this is something that we always get asked. And one of the things that both Tammy and I always tell students is that there isn't just one exact amount or one special number. Everyone has different circumstances unique to each and every one of you. Not everyone is in the same financial situation. So what your classmate may be borrowing may not necessarily be what you're going to be borrowing, and that is totally okay. But in order to borrow smart, we want to make sure that you only borrow what you need. And how do you know what you need? So what you want to do is you need to calculate the cost of attendance. So your cost of attendance is made up of various things. You have direct and indirect expenses. So your direct expenses would be things such as tuition and fees. So things that are directly charged and billed to you. And then you have your indirect expenses. These are things like living expenses. So you're talking about housing, personal expenses, transportation. So in order to be successful in medical school, you don't just need to make sure that you pay for your seat at that lecture hall. You also want to make sure that you have funding in order to put a roof over your head, food in your belly, in order for you to function as best you can. So both of these direct and indirect expenses contribute and make up what the cost of attendance is. So when you calculate your loan amounts, you want to make sure that you look at your award information on your Locus account. So everyone has access to Locus. I'm hoping that everyone checks their Locus accounts to find information. You want to find out how much it is that you're being awarded, what's being offered to you, whether that's institutional funding, federal funding in the form of unsubsidized loans, federal funding in the form of Graduate Plus loans, or for some students who decide to take a private loan route, that is the funding that is available to them. What are your direct costs? You want to look at your account summary by term, which is available via your Student Locus account. Here you'll find most up-to-date information about what is being billed to you for that term. Once you know how much is being billed and how much of your award is going towards that direct cost, then you want to create a budget for your indirect expenses. So if you click on your estimated cost of attendance, which you can find on your student center, you'll see that we break down costs by semester. Here you'll find information pertaining to housing, personal expenses, and travel. These are suggested amounts, and that's what you want to start budgeting for. So we always talk about budgeting. If you remember from your M1 year, we had that one-on-one budgeting session with you. So we emphasize on creating a budget because budgets allow you to create a spending plan for your money, and it ensures that you will always have enough money for the things that you need. I'm going to say that again. It's going to ensure that you have money for the things that you need. So obviously, needs and wants are two different things, right? Unfortunately, as a medical student, the funding that you do receive is limited, and you are in a career path in a program that doesn't allow enough time for you to work and to earn income. So really your only income is the money that you would receive from these loans for living expenses. So it's really important that you do those three things. You check how much is being awarded to you, how much of that award is going to go to your direct expenses, and then create a budget for those indirect expenses with the suggested amounts that you'll find on your estimated cost of attendance.
Awesome. So next we're going to move to understanding interest rates. After I read this, I'll explain something else about the budgeting, but interest is paid to a lender as a cost of borrowing money. Interest is calculated as a percentage of the unpaid principal amount. So unlike any other forms of debt, such as credit cards and mortgages, direct loans are daily interest loans, which means that interest accrues or accumulates on a daily rate. So when we think about the budgeting, which you all either met with Lupe or I, that directly reflects how much you borrow in loans. And I am seeing where students are looking at or trying to minimize the amount that they borrow, which is awesome. But when I show you the next few slides, hopefully this is something that you will say like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm only going to start borrowing what I need if you're taking out more for other things other than your educational expenses. And so, so here, and let me just explain the differences, because what I did here was break out the interest, or break down the interest for your whole program. So I had an M1, M2, M3, M4 budget. And so you have the estimated budget here, and this thing here is blocking me. The estimated budget here for $87,533. So your estimated budget is different for each year, just as the interest rate will be different for each of the years of your program as well. And so another difference is that in step 2, where you have to identify your daily rate, the unsub loan amount will be different as well. So for the M1 and M2 year, your academic year is based on 10 months. The third academic year is based on 12 months, so you'll receive more in the unsub loan. And your M4 year is based on 11 months. So it'll be a little bit more than this amount. And I'll go over this slide in detail. The other slides, I'll just kind of just show you like the differences. But there are 3 steps in determining the interest rate. And so first you want to calculate the daily interest rate, which again is 4.30 for this academic year. The unsubsidized loan, for the unsubsidized loans, you want to just take that decimal amount and divide it by 365, which is the days in the year, and that gives you another percentage amount here. And the same for the Grad Plus loan. So if you guys are not aware, the Grad Plus loan amount is always 1% higher than the unsubsidized loan amount. So that's where this 5.30% comes into play. So we divide both of those numbers by 365. Step 2, we're identifying that daily interest rate. So we're taking these percentages that we figured out above, and we're timing it by the unsub loan amount of $42,722, which gives us $5, right? So on a daily basis, you're being charged $5 for the unsub loan if you borrow this full amount. And so pretty much how I calculated the Grad Plus loan amount here is that I took away $42,722 from $87,533. And so when we divide that percentage by this amount, we get $6.51. And so if you're taking out the full amount of the Grad Plus loan, know that $6.51 is accumulating on a daily basis for that loan. And so when we convert it to a monthly amount, times in those by 30, $151 and $195. So again, when we add those amounts together, which totals to $346, and times that by 12, $4,154 is building on both of these loans for the whole year. And so I can go through, so M2, and I'll take questions after this slide, just so it's your questions, if you have them, are fresh before we get through the rest of the presentation. But like I said, the federal government, they based on the market, every July 1st, new interest rates are communicated out to institutions. So for last year, it was 6.8%. The year before that, 6.6%, and the year before that, 6%. So to keep everything simple, I just went through and did the full amount that students would be eligible for in a M4 year, and took away that from the full cost of attendance, which gave us the difference of the Grad Plus loan. So I broke that amount down for each year. And then at the bottom, I added those years together, which gives us a total of 22,319. And again, I wanted to keep this example simple, but the reality is, if you take out the full cost of attendance in the first academic year, or if you borrow any loans for that matter, you will want to times this amount by 4, because you're enrolled for 4 years in the program. And that's the same for M2. You want to do 3 years, 2 years for M3 year, and then you have the 1 year in the M4 year. So are there any questions before we move on to the next slide?
I actually have 2 questions, if that's okay. One is pertaining to what you just talked about, and then one is pertaining to what Lupe talked about. So I know that right now, like interest rates are really low for like mortgages and stuff. And my boyfriend actually just graduated medical school. So I'm wondering if like refinancing is an option.
On
student loans, yeah.
So I would be careful with that because, well, and you're refinancing into a private loan.
Right.
Federal government does not have refinancing, they have consolidation. So I would suggest to really weigh your options when it comes to refinancing, because private lenders have different rules surrounding their loans. As when you look at the federal government loans, they have more benefits. So if you aren't able to pay your loans, you're able to go into forbearance, you're able to get on income-based repayment plans. To think about when you're thinking about refinancing.
Okay.
Take away your options.
That makes sense. Thank you. And then the other question is, I guess it kind of ties into both, because I think like as first generation low income students, a lot of us don't have parents to fall back on. And I think when calculating taking out loans, I'm wondering if we should calculate like emergency expenses, potential emergency expenses, whether that be like a hospital bill or what, or if like Loyola perhaps offers something like that in case of emergency, if something were to happen to us and we don't have the means to pay for it.
So, okay, this is kind of a 2-part. So let me first say that the financial aid does offer like a budget adjustment appeal. So if any like emergencies come up, like with your car, or you have to pay something with medical, as long as you actually pay and are able to submit a receipt to our office along with the budget appeal, we're able to increase your budget, which in turn enables you to borrow more in loans. So to answer your actual question, I just want to make you guys aware of that first part, if you weren't already aware.
So you mean that like we should like at the like let's say at the beginning of the year, once we take out our loans and stuff, like it seems like it would then be beneficial to I guess, take out less, like not account for emergencies, and then if the emergency comes up, is readjust our budget. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's kind of
Okay.
what I'm getting into. So it's like, say for instance, so looking at this M4 estimated budget. So let's just say you needed 90,000 to cover the tuition and fees and your living expenses. So that means you have the 2,300 remaining. And so if an emergency or something came up in that instance, you could say, oh, I have 2,000 remaining. I can go back and borrow that as long as you're enrolled. So you don't have to borrow what you need. As long as you have that room in your budget, you can always come back and request more money.
Got it. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I had a
Okay.
question about that. Thank you. So if we do decide to borrow more money, I know that when we originally take out the Grad Plus loan, you might have covered this, but it removes a percentage. Is it going to remove another percentage again if we take it out a second time?
Thanks for bringing that up. I did have in my notes to mention that. And so, Amelia, am I saying your name right? I hope so.
Amala.
Amala, I'm sorry, because I butchered names, so I apologize.
Okay, thanks.
So what happens is, so there is an interest rate, which for this M4 budget is 6%. And then there is a processing fee that the servicer charges to process the loan. And so typically that processing fee is like 1.06 or something like that. That also changes every October 1st. And so that amount is taken off top before it's sent to the school. So that is the difference that you guys see with the gross amount and the net amount. And so yes, if you borrowed the 90,000 and you came back and said, oh, I want to borrow this the 2,300, then yes, you will be charged a processing fee, but it will only be on that $2,300 amount.
Got it. Thanks.
I have a question on this $22,000 amount, because my understanding is that $4,000 from M1 is still, like, we're still gaining interest on it in M2, M3, and M4. So this 22,319, is that the dollar amount from each year of borrowing? And does it include the interest we're accruing in M2, M3, M4 for M1, and then M3 and M4 for M2, and so on?
Right. So that's why I said I just put this example so that it'll be simple for you to understand. But for the M1 amount, you would have to times that 4,154 by 4 times the M2 by 3 and the M3 by 2 and the M4 will remain the same because it's in that same year that you graduate.
Okay, so the addition here is just per year of loan for the year that we took them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There are also a couple questions in the chat. So one was, do we know if interest rates will stay at 0% in 2021?
No, we do not know that yet. So hopefully something soon will be coming out. I hope it does personally, but no, we don't know yet.
And then someone piggybacked off that question and asked, will back interest be added on later?
No.
Great, thank you. And that's all we have in the chat for now. Keep your questions coming though.
Yes. Awesome. So we can move on to the next slide. So investing, Lupe.
Yeah. So investing is a topic that we have seen a growing interest with our students. Pretty much what investing is, it's the act of allocating resources, which is usually in the form of money, with an expectation to generate more money, right? So you have an amount and you want to double the money, get more money in return. You want to receive a profit. So you can invest in businesses, assets, things such as purchasing land, real estate, with hopes of later on being able to resell these assets that you have acquired at a higher price, therefore making a profit. It's important to know that, at least I can speak for myself, I am not an investment guru. But we have compiled information that covers the basics and provides an explanation to investing. So this is one of the things that we want to make sure that you're looking at, and that you want to make sure you check off when you're thinking about investment. It's a roadmap to savings and investing, right? So you need to know what your goal is. What's your end goal? What are you expecting? What do you want to achieve by investing? You have to figure out your finances. Where is it that you are? Is investing something that you're able to do based off of your current finances? Keep in mind that small savings build up to big returns, with time. It's also important that you pay off credit cards or any high debt that you have prior to starting investing, just so that you can have that debt minimized. You want to make sure also that you don't put all of your money into investments, leaving you without any funds should you have a rainy day, right? An emergency fund. It's important for you to also look into investing, but also make sure that you're building an emergency fund. Understand what it means to invest. What is investing? What does that really mean? What do I have to do if I want to invest, and how is my money going to be tied up, or is my money going to be tied up, right? You want to make sure that you understand that. Diversify your investments. What that means is don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Diversify. Kind of look at the various options that you have. Gauge your risks. So pretty much measure the risks. Is this risk that you're going to take to invest really something that you can do at this time? And then learn about investment options. There's so many investment options available, and it's also important to know that not one investment option fits everyone's need. So it's important that you look at your options and see what better fits your needs.
And I just want to kind of add here, like after the next slide, you guys will kind of understand a little bit more about this one, but with certain things like diversify your investments. So that's pretty much saying like, okay, you're going to invest like in real estate or cell phones or whatever industry is out there that you guys are interested in. I know like Apple and Amazon are, stocks that people are really interested in that are high now. But those are different industries, because Amazon isn't the same as Apple or whatever, right? And then like gauging your risk tolerance. So I'm not sure if any of you have like worked and had jobs where you were contributing to like a 401k, but typically they put you in like a age restricted like fund. And again, the next slide will, after the video plays, you guys will understand more, but it's like you're able to choose how aggressive you want your fund to be that you invest in a 401k or 503b. And these would be things that's offered to you once you matched. So I'll probably have some more to say after the next slide, just to kind of weigh in on what's mentioned in the video. So I'll go to the next slide.
How a beginner should start investing. Investing 101. There are so many investment options for newbies, including robo-advisors and beginning investors. But where does one start? The greatest misconception about investing is that it's reserved only for the elite, and that you need a ton of money to start investing. This could have been true 10 years ago, but not in 2020. All barriers to entry have been kicked out by technology and development in the sector. With all these advancements, there's no excuse for beginners not to invest. So follow these tips and start building your wealth. But before we start, have you subscribed to our channel? We have amazing content every other day that you don't want to miss out on. Don't forget to also tap the bell notification icon. Now let's begin. We're going to start off here with number 1, the golden rule of investing. The rule states that you should never lose money. This rule was created by the investment guru Warren Buffett, who has amassed a fortune of wealth by applying this rule. The best way to do this is by investing at attractive prices when an option is undervalued. By doing this, you will be paying less than the real price, which could later earn you some serious money when normalcy resumes. As much as risk-taking is great, make sure you only take calculated risks. Avoid short-term investing, as it is highly risky. Look for long-term investment options with secure returns to minimize on risks. Warren Buffett has built his wealth through long-term investing, as opposed to short-term trading. Well, some people have hit the jackpot through speculation, but an even larger number of people have lost money in the same way. In short-term trading, there are multiple costs that are charged in fees and many uncertainties that could result in huge losses. Many other billionaires have acquired their money through this longer-term trading, which has proven to be more essential over the years. Number 2, build a portfolio plan. When you're starting out, define your goals. That is how much money you want to make in the long run. Where would you want to be financially? What would you desire your net worth to be? Ask yourself such questions pre-hand, then create a plan for getting there. Once that's done, identify the investment options that are lucrative and whose return rate would give you the earnings you would wish to have within the given timelines. Use this as your guide when making your investment decisions. Number 3, paper trading. With paper trading, beginners can build real experience without having to risk real money. This technique allows you to trade and invest in stocks, track profits or losses, and basically do everything you would have done in reality. Today, many platforms will enable you to practice your skills at no cost at all. Think of this as a training ground before you invest with your real money. I think every beginner should start here. I mean, what's there to lose? Number 4, stocks. As a beginner, buying stock of a single company can be one of the best ways to invest your money. By investing in the right company, you could earn as much as 15% a year. This same strategy that I'm about to show you is the same Warren Buffett has used to milk the markets for the last 6 decades. So, how does one invest as a beginner? The most important aspect to keep in mind is choosing the right company and the right time. This will require you to reach the selected companies by looking at their past performance, their management, their financial reports, and the moat. Once you have identified a company that meets your qualifications, don't invest right away. Place the company on your watch list for some time. As you wait, keep an eye on price dips. Once the stock price goes down, buy. This will give you a great bargain and profit once the company goes back to their real value. As you invest, it's important to keep your emotions in check. Understand that markets are very volatile, and even the best companies may experience dips. Don't panic or make hasty decisions based on any drastic changes. Instead, wait, be patient, and analyze the situation before making a decision. Never let fear be the driving factor behind a decision to buy or sell. Often, if not always, you will be wrong and will be doing exactly what the market wants you to. The beauty of investing today is that you don't need a lot of money. You can start with as little as $1,000 and grow your account to tens of thousands in a short time. As you invest, ensure you avoid penny stocks. Penny stocks are the stocks of companies that are valued under $5. These stocks can be attractive as they are lowly priced. However, they are very volatile, and little to no information about the companies is available online. Most penny stocks are for small companies that are relatively new in the public sphere. Number 5, investing apps. Technology has come in to save the day, or rather save newbie investors. Today, there are numerous investing apps that target beginners. Some even round up your purchases on credit or debit purchases and invest them in a portfolio of ETFs. These apps will work like robo-advisors and will manage your portfolio. If you still want to do it for yourself, there are so many apps that will train you and teach you how to invest. Most charge very little fees and are convenient as they can be accessed at any time on your devices. Number 6, ETFs. Exchange-traded funds are quite similar to index funds. They also track a specific market index and use the same investing approach. These funds also tend to have less fees when compared to mutual funds. The main difference between the two is that rather than having a minimum investment, the ETF are traded throughout a day and have a share price which fluctuates. This share price is the ETF's minimum investment amount, which can be less than $100 or even more than $300. Since they are traded daily like stock, they incur brokerage fees paid in commissions. Many people have made a lot of money through them, but they require a lot of research and vigilance. To really succeed with them, you will need to dedicate a significant amount of time, if not a full-time investor. Number 7, index funds. The easiest way to describe index funds is mutual funds on autopilot. It's a great alternative to hiring a portfolio manager to create one for you. Instead, an index fund will track a specific index. Market index refers to a collection of investments that represent a segment of the total market. A great example is the S&P 500 that holds the stocks of 500 of the biggest companies in America. The S&P 500 fund will mirror the performance of the companies within the category and buy their stocks. The expenses are lower as the funds take a passive approach in investing, which involves tracking the overall market index as opposed to having a real professional portfolio manager. Similar to mutual funds, if you invest in index funds, you will be purchasing a chunk of the whole market in a single transaction. In many cases, index funds have minimum investment amounts, but a couple of brokerage funds have no requirements. How amazing is that? This investment option is better in the long term. Number 8, target date mutual funds. Similar to retirement plans are the target date mutual funds. This investment option will automatically invest money with the estimated retirement year in mind. A mutual fund is a basket of many investments where an investor buys a share in the fund, thereby investing in the total holdings of the fund at a go. These funds are run by professional managers who choose how the fund will be invested, but each fund generally follows a specified theme. For example, an equity mutual fund will invest in stocks. In most cases, you will find the targeted mutual funds holding a mix of bonds and stocks. If one plans to retire in 20 years from 2020, they can select a mutual fund of their preference, and it will be labeled 2040. When the term ends, the investor will reap from the returns of the investment. Number 9, robo-advisors. Just as the name suggests, these are robots that offer financial services, such as building portfolios and selecting investment options on people's behalf. If you don't know much about investing, robo-advisors are a great option. Robo-advisors will manage all your investments by using computer algorithms. Their systems incur low overhead costs. Therefore, the fees to operate are relatively lower than hiring brokers to manage your account. It would cost you between 0.25% and 0.50% to use a robo-advisor, and between 0.5% to even 5% to hire a personal financial advisor. When you're a newbie and you don't have a lot of money, this is an easy way out. But we're not saying you let them do all the work. You still have to monitor where your money is going and what is happening. If you're also interested in learning, some advisors have educational content and useful tools that will help you understand more about the process involved. It's a cheaper, more convenient, and proven way to invest. Number 10, employment retirement plans, or 401k. A retirement plan is the best place to start as a rookie investor. Some companies will match your contribution. Say you contribute 2% of your salary. Your company could contribute another 2%, equivalent to the amount you put in the plan. It may seem like a small amount, but it's free money that will grow over the years. Today, you can contribute up to $19,500 in your 401k and $26,000 if you're above the age of 50. The beauty of this investment plan is that there's no minimum deposit required. You can start with as little as you can afford to. When you choose a plan, the amount will be deducted automatically from your account. Most retirement plan deductions are made pre-tax, so you end up saving a lot more money in the long run. The power of compounding also plays a key role here in growing your money. A little contribution every month can create a pool of money in a couple of years through compounding. Still not sure about this? Head over to your HR department for more information. All in all, follow our short guide for investing and you should be all right. With that said, where will you be starting your investment journey? Please.
Okay, guys, so I know that was a long video, but we just kind of wanted to bring to your attention like all of your options. And I kind of just want to point out 5 of them. And so one of the first things that the video mentioned was to build a portfolio plan, which is pretty much just to plan out your financial goals, which I hope that you guys are seeing like what's happening. Like budgeting is tracking your spending. So that's pretty much a spending plan. And then for you to build a portfolio plan as far as investing in your finances, it's pretty much saying like, okay, this is where I want to be. So for instance, I want to retire early. So I have to look at what my goals are and I have to be aggressive with it because I want to retire early. So I've had to save more. I had to continue living like I was in school. So when I preach to, oh, okay, live like a student once you graduate, or continue living like a student now, I am actually practicing what I preach because I understand what my goal is in the long run. And so you have to write these things down and you have to come up with strategies in order to meet your goal. So in the video, he also mentioned stocks. And so we have resources coming later in the presentation on if you don't have much money, you can use some of those investing apps. The ones in particular that I use, and there are a lot out there, and I'm not in any way endorsing these apps, but StockPal and Robinhood were good starts for me because it allowed me to invest those small amounts and to look up and research companies that I wanted to invest money in. So I would suggest just to start looking around, because I mean, the reality is you may not be able to do it now. I understand some of you may have worked and you have a savings. So I would definitely suggest, if you have the money, the quote unquote free money sitting in an account, to look more into any stocks or any companies that you swear by. And I know, for instance, like I read a lot on finances, and I believe it's Warren Buffett that says like invest in those things that you purchase. So like I'm a big shopper at Amazon, so I have pieces of Amazon stock because they're $3,000. So I have pieces of Amazon stock. I shop Dell, so I have pieces in Dell. So just look at those things that you purchase all the time, and those can be like avenues where you can start investing in those things. Mention investment apps. He also mentioned like the target date mutual funds, which to me could have been put together with the employment retirement plan. So that is where I see those target date mutual funds all the time when you are employed with the company. And so for my age range, I think it's like 2045 or something like that. That's a target date fund. I wanted to be more aggressive. So I moved my funds to like 2030 or something sooner, because those because those are more aggressive. Like I wanted to be more aggressive with my funds because I want to make more money because I'm trying to retire early. Any questions on this?
I have a quick question. So when you're going about trying to purchase an index fund, do you have recommendations on like who you should?
I'm so sorry, I can barely hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it out 1 second.
And I can't.
So it was,
okay.
it was in the chat. So when going about picking index funds, do you have recommendations on where to go to purchase those, or what companies to avoid using for index funds?
So I think the thing is for you is to just like look up and see who you're most comfortable with. Like if you have a bank, they may offer some services for you to invest in index funds. So like StockPal, they have index funds where you can purchase index funds with their app. But like Merrill Lynch, like I have Bank of America, and I think Merrill Lynch is a part of Bank of America. So I think just do your research. Like you can Google and see like who offers like purchasing of stocks for the lowest rate. And you can decide who you can go to just from that, because some of these banks, they do have fees for you to purchase and sell off these stocks and index funds. So you could go that route, or just research and look up more information with your bank. And just so you guys know, Merrill Lynch, even though I did not sign up with them, they have a bunch of educational information that helps you decide how and what to do. And it just has a bunch of educational information for you guys to learn how to maneuver through like the investment tools that are out there. Any other questions?
I have a question for you, Tammy.
Mhm.
So I guess I'm still trying to figure out like what financial position do we need to be in as med students if we're taking out significant student loans where investing makes sense?
Yeah, thanks for that. Like, I don't really recommend for students to borrow loans to invest, because just like I went over how the interest is building on a daily rate, like, so interest is building on the money that you're taking out to invest. And again, I think that is a personal choice. But I would necessarily wouldn't advise for a student like, oh yeah, take out this loan money so you can invest. And so while we typically don't talk about investing, it is something that is on my radar, like to talk about for students in their third year, just to kind of prepare them for the decisions that they will have to make once they graduate. But like if you're M1, M2, and like you are relying on student loans to like get you through, there really is no room for you to invest.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Because I'm unable to see the chat with the presentation up. So if someone could just read the questions to me.
Yeah, nothing in the chat right now. Looks like everyone's okay.
Okay, awesome. And so our next, and I think our last topic is loan repayment.
Yeah, so loan repayment is another popular question that we get. So we get students asking questions about loan repayment, and we're telling them how to borrow, how much to borrow, but we're not telling them how to repay these loans. So we really don't touch base on loan repayment in full detail, I should rephrase that. We don't touch base in full detail about loan repayment until your fourth year. So fourth year, just like you had that mandatory one-on-one session, your M1 year, fourth year, you're going to have a mandatory exit session. And during that time, we will give you very detailed information pertaining to repayment options. A lot of the funding that is borrowed by our students is federal funding. So whoever is sitting in the Hill are pretty much the people who control what is going on with these funds, excuse me. So things can change on a year-to-year basis. So that's one of the reasons why we really don't provide detailed loan repayment information to students, just because what is in place right now, your M1 year, for example, may not necessarily be what is in place when you graduate your fourth year. So just know that the information is available. We did provide some resources for you to look up the information at studentaid.gov. They have great information. But once again, we will go through this information with detail with our M4 students.
And I just want to mention here, sorry to cut you off, Lupe, but
no problem.
You guys have access to your loan information via studentaid.gov. So you know where you went to sign your master promissory note. You're always able to look up information there, and it is available in your Locus account if you ever wanted to see like, oh, let me look up to see how much I have in debt at this point. And just so you guys are aware, our office, we also have a loan data sheet that is also available that we can provide to you. We are working on getting that like added to your Locus account where you're able to just pull that whenever you want. But just know that you are able to look up the full amount that you're borrowing across your program and across like any funds that you borrowed in your undergrad year as well. That's it.
Before we start the video that explains loan repayment, we did want to make a note that in this presentation, we talk about consolidation. Just please note that not all loans qualify for loan consolidation, and you can view various consolidation requirements at studentaid.gov, just so that we're clear on that. So if Tammy, if you can please start the video.
Okay.
To graduate from college or career school, it's important to figure out your loan repayment strategy. It might seem intimidating, but don't worry. This overview will help you understand the basics. Here's what you should consider. Consider whether it's a good idea to consolidate your student loans. Consolidation combines your loans into one, so you'll have just one monthly payment, and it may lower your overall payment amount each month. There can be downsides. For example, consolidation could increase the total amount of money you pay.
Before we continue on with that, you guys, and I know Lupe kind of mentioned it, but I just want to say right here before I forget, loan consolidation will only be an option for you if you have multiple loan servicers. So if you have loan in your undergrad and they're with Fed Loan Servicing, and you came to medical school and now your loans are with Navient or something like that, then yes, I would recommend for you to consolidate your loans. But if your loans are all with the same servicer, then you do not need to consolidate your loans. However, if your loans, like from undergrad, like if you went to school before, geez, was that like 2007? It may have been 2007.
Yeah.
When the loans were with FAIL, which means you were able to choose who your lender was, like direct loans was not around then I will also suggest to consolidate, because you want all of your loans to be direct loans so that you can reap the benefits of the federal loans.
Which one should you choose? Well, it depends on your goals. With a standard repayment plan, you pay a fixed amount each month. This plan is designed to ensure you'll pay off your loan within 10 years and minimize the interest you pay. With a graduated repayment plan, you start with a lower monthly payment. Then the payment amount gradually increases every 2 years. This plan also ensures you'll pay off your loan within 10 years, but you'll pay more interest than you would under the standard plan. Then there are income-driven repayment plans. These plans base your monthly payments on your income level, so they can go up or down as your income changes. The revised pay-as-you-earn plan, also known as REPAY, the pay-as-you-earn plan known as PAY, the income-based repayment plan, or IBR, and the income contingent repayment plan, or ICR. If you're in one of these plans, you have to recertify to confirm your income every year, but it's easy. You just confirm or update your income and family size information so your loan servicer can recalculate your payment. These plans aren't designed to be sure that your loan is paid off within a specific time frame, but if you don't, within 20 or 25 years, the remaining balance is forgiven. All of these repayment plans have advantages and disadvantages, so visit studentaid.gov/repay for details. Need help figuring out which repayment plan is right for you? Use our repayment estimator. It will help you estimate your payments under each plan. It's a tool that gives you a good estimate of how much your payments would be under each plan. You can find the repayment estimator at studentaid.gov/repayment estimator. Just fill in a few details and it does the math for you. You need to know how to make monthly loan payments. You send loan payments to a loan servicer. They handle the billing and other services on your loan on behalf of the U.S. Department of Education. Your loan servicer will provide instructions on how to make a payment. If you have any questions, make sure to follow up with your servicer. Not sure who your loan servicer is? You can look them up and see your federal student aid history. A little payment tip. Once you know where to send your monthly payment, it's smart to enroll in automatic debit or auto debit with your loan servicer. With auto debit, your payment gets taken from your bank account automatically each month. This way, you'll know your payments will be made on time. Plus, if you enroll, you get a 0.25% interest rate deduction on your loan. There you have it. If you follow these steps, you'll be well on your way to successful and less stressful repayment. As always, if you have questions or need help, Federal Student Aid is here to help.
All right, you guys. So, as Lupe mentioned in the beginning of this slide, in your M4 year, we bring in a financial planner. AAMC also speaks about and goes into these loan repayment plans in more depth. And we also bring in a doctor to speak about their repayment experience. And so just from conversations with students and some students, and here, let me backtrack a little bit. So these are the traditional plans that the video spoke about, right? I start standard because if you do not select a repayment plan once you go into repayment, standard will be the plan that is automatically enrolled for you. So you'll automatically be enrolled in a standard plan if you do not select a plan. And so that is the plan that divides all of your payments into 10 years. So you could possibly have a payment that is $2,000 or $3,000 under the standard plan, which in most cases, once you match, you're making $50,000 to $60,000, you will not be able to afford it. And so the income-based repayment plans are a better option for students. The students that I have spoken to go into repay. Again, all of these plans are based off of your income. So we advise for students that at that time, you file a tax return in your M4 year. Most likely you have not made any income to where your payment will most likely be zero once you're in your first year of residency. And so those payments, again, are zero. So that's one less thing that you have to worry about while you're in medical school. I also want to mention that AAMC has the Med Loan Calculator that is designed for medical students. So I would advise that you guys log on to that site and input your loan amounts into that tool, and it will break down how much your payments will be for each payment plan. And this should help you guys make a better decision once you graduate from medical school. Are there any questions?
Nothing in the chat either. I think
Nope.
we're good.
Oh, okay. And so here, these are just our resources here. So to help with budgeting, you guys could download the Mint app, Credit Karma. I'm always pushing for Credit Karma because this is just a way to help you guys keep track of your credit. If anything pops up, you know, like, hey, I can go in there and say this is a discrepancy. So I use it and I probably check it every week just to make sure everything is good with my credit. Again, like I said, AAMC, you guys use AAMC. They have a lot of financial wellness information. You could probably get, and I'm sure it's not a problem, you can get more information on investing, more information on loans or buying a house, anything that you want to know about. The financial wellness tool is awesome. Cash Course has a lot of different information that you guys may want to know about. I would suggest to use both of those tools. And then federal student aid. So anything that comes to the loans, that information is there on that site. And again, if there is something that maybe federal student aid or whatever site doesn't break down the way you need it to be broken down for you to understand it, definitely reach back out to us and we can do another presentation or something like this with the on a different day or whatever. So the investment resources, again, Robinhood is a good place to start. Stockpile, if you just want to start looking up the cost of stocks and just researching companies and just seeing how like the apps and how this information works. And Investopedia, a lot of information there. So I would just suggest anything that you want to know about, you can find it. But if you know you guys get together and you're having a conversation and you want to see something where everyone is getting the same information or need it broken down, please reach out to us. We do not want you guys to stress about money or stress about anything that has to do with money because it's all totally doable. Oh, I know what else I wanted to mention with the loan repayment. Oh gosh, did I just forget it that quick? I'm getting old, y'all. Wait a minute. Crap, it's gone. Okay. Any questions pop up?
And if I may just say right now, with the resources that we're providing, especially the ones pertaining to your credit, please take advantage of those. Unfortunately, we live in a time where identity theft is a huge issue, and there has been a spike in identity theft right now during COVID. So please, please, please make sure that you are monitoring your credit because, again, a lot of living expenses is covered by private or federal Graduate Plus loans, which require a credit inquiry. So you definitely don't want an identity theft issue to keep you from the possibility of being able to obtain one of these loans. So definitely make sure that you're keeping your information safe and that you're keeping track of all of your credit.
And that is it on our end. Did any other questions come through? Anything else that you guys want to know about before we depart?
Thank you so much, Tammy and Lupe. It was really helpful. I feel like, yeah, it was really succinct and exactly the type of information we needed. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I also want to open the floor up to, some of the M2s, M3s, M4s who are here who wanted to maybe give some advice to the M1s who are kind of just starting on their journey. So if anyone wants to share anything, this is your chance.
Hey everyone, I did have a couple tips that I received last year right about this time from a person who's now an M4. So her advice was to never do any research unpaid, that there's always a way to find a grant or some type of funding for your research. So that's just a way, obviously it's not like big scale savings, but that's a way to kind of augment your income or your savings. And I have actually, so she talked about that at a SAS research presentation. So I have the PowerPoint from that. If any of you want to email me to ask for that, she has specific advice on there. And then another thing would be, I don't know if any of you have concerns about medical expenses. I can't give you advice on medical insurance, but I can tell you that being on Medicaid saves so much money. If you have any types of copay, you're not going to have that on Medicaid, or you shouldn't. So my advice would be just to consider that. And there are outreach coordinators through the undergrad campus who can help you navigate that. That's all.
Speaking of ways to earn money, I did want to add that during my first and second year, I was a dog walker with Rover. And I found that to be like a really cool way to de-stress and add some cash. It's like free to sign up. You just need someone to write you a testimony that you're a decent human being. Obviously, right now, I think it's kind of limited because like COVID and not many people are traveling. But you know, like I'd get like $20 for a walk or $50 for like staying over. And it wasn't like a lot, but it was definitely enough where I felt like, okay, this is money, like fun money that I can set aside, or like Christmas money that I can use to spend, you know, for gifts. And yeah, and like you can decline or accept whichever offers you want. So it's all based on your schedule. And again, dog therapy is the best.
All right, well, thanks everyone. Thanks Tammy. Thanks Guadalupe for such a great presentation. I think we're all super impressed with what we learned today and we're so grateful for you. And this video is going to be available. I'm going to send it over to you guys in the next couple days, and we'll make it available on our YouTube channel. Yeah, well, if anyone has anything else to add or share, this is your chance before we're all done.
Awesome. And thank you for having us.
Yes.
And I just want to say again, like if there's anything else that you want to know about, please just reach out to us. We don't want you to be confused or have misinformation. We do want you to be clear and know what your options are when you graduate.
All right, great. Well, thanks everyone.